Hi, this is Grace, and this is my presentation for the AWS Security, Privacy, and Compliance Policy for BitBeat. And we're going to start with like a minor introduction. So we already know that BitBeat is a company that recently released the Bitbanger software as a cloud infrastructure. They moved to the cloud as a cloud infrastructure and then released um, Bitbanger as cloud-based software. So, and the fact that it's a cloud-based infrastructure opens a lot of doors for vulnerabilities, a lot of cyber attacks, and those are the dangers of having a cloud-based infrastructure or service. And it puts the customer's information at risk. So the objective of this presentation is to propose a comprehensive security policy for BitBeats and also talk about how they can leverage the AWS services to protect their data and operations. So we're going to look at the AWS tools and resources for securing devices. So when we talk about devices, we're talking about the PCs, the mobile devices, the servers, and so on. So the first tool they can use is the AWS Identity and Access Management. So this tool is used to devise policies that help control who has access to the AWS resources and what actions they took while they were, um, on the service. So this ensures that only the authorized users can access the cloud data and resources, thereby protecting the PCs and the mobile devices. Another tool is the AWS Shield. So this is a managed service that provides DDoS protection. And just for like a little bit of info, DDoS is like a distributed denial of service cyber attack, where multiple compromised computers are used to flood a target system with a lot of traffic, excessive requests. And through this point, a lot of malicious softwares and tools can be passed through the system into your company's system without you knowing. And and that is why AWS Shield is a very good tool for protecting against any of this. So another tool is the Amazon Inspector. So this tool performs like automated security assessments on your Amazon EC2 instances, and your Amazon EC2 instances are your virtual machines, and this kind of scans them, identifies their vulnerabilities, their misconfigurations, and compliance issues, keeping devices secure, and up to date. So this is also very important. AWS, another resource is the AWS Mobile Hub or Device Farm. So this tool allows for the testing and managing of the security of mobile applications across varieties of devices. This ensures that the mobile apps used by employees are safe and compliant with security standards. Um, Moving on, we have basic concepts. I recommend some basic concepts for protecting employees accessing the cloud resources. So first is the multi-factor authentication. This is when you have like more than one way of authenticating a user when they're trying to log into their account. So aside from the passwords, you can use like an OTP, a one-time password where they get the message every time they're trying to log into the system. They get like figures where they have to enter and all those other things. So this is kind of, even if an attacker has the password, they won't be able to get the OTP because um, this is going to be a way that is personally delivered to the owner of the account, and that way the owner of the account can know, oh, someone is trying to log into their account. So another one concept they can implement is the encrypted VPN connections. And for this aspect, VPN is like an encrypted tunnel where the users, maybe remote workers or remote users, are able to access the company's network in a very secure manner without being affected by any form of attacks or having data corrupted or being stolen in the process. So this encrypted VPN connections are very good for protecting against that and securing your workers. So when they are out of the company or working from another country, they can have secure access to the company's network and information and everything. So another concept is the zero trust approach. So the zero trust approach is like a model that assumes that Every access request inside or outside the network must be verified before being granted access to cloud resources. So this kind of verifies all the access requests and minimizes unauthorized access risk. So another concept that I would like you to implement is the secure access for trusted devices. And you can use the IAM policies because the IAM you can use to create policies that restrict access to the cloud users based on, device trustworthy. So this way, only known and trusted devices which meets the security standards are allowed to access the the resources. This minimizes the risk of, security database breaches and so on. So we have the AWS. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the core security tools for IT security. So IT security department, I mean. We have the AWS Cloud Trail. So this tool logs all actions taken with your AWS account, such as who accessed which resources and what actions they performed. It keeps record of them and kind of audits them. So another tool is also the Amazon Cloud Watch. So this tool monitors the health and performance of your AWS infrastructure, including your servers, your databases, and your applications. Another tool is the AWS config. So this tool kind of tracks the configuration of your AWS resources, checking if they're compliant with the security policies. The next tool is the VPC flow log. So this captures network traffic information going in and out of your virtual private cloud, just like the way Wireshark would do. And Wireshark is like a software that networking professionals use to track whatever information or what action is being taken on the network, the internet network that comes into the computer. So, Amazon Guard Duty. This is used to monitor AWS environment for threats like unauthorized access or malicious activities. And then we're not going to look at how they benefit your company, how they protect your assets like your servers, your computers, and your mobile devices. So the next is the first we're going to look at the CrowdTrail. So this provides like a real-time monitoring of the user account activities. So you have like a log of what a user did when they logged in, what they accessed. This provides a detailed auditing and monitoring capabilities, helping you to track changes, detecting unauthorized activities, and maintaining security and compliance. So the next is the Amazon CloudWatch. So this provides like a real-time metrics and log, just like the CloudTrail, and enables you to detect and respond to potential issues quickly. So this is not just for user. This is not for user accounts, but maybe when a server something happens to a server, you get to keep track of how frequently some things are changing in the computer, so you get to see to the Amazon CloudWatch. So the AWS config. This is used to ensure that the resources are always in a secure and compliant state, reducing misconfiguration that could lead to vulnerabilities. The VPC flow log allows IT teams to monitor network behaviors, identify anomalies, and troubleshoot connectivity or security issues. The Amazon Guard Duty detects and flags suspicious behaviors such as, brute force attacks done through cybersecurity, to hackers, yeah, or unusual API activities, helping protect your access. So we're going to discuss next, which is the employees' performance in AWS systems. The question I want to answer is what will employees have permission to do in the AWS system? And then this is very important because depending on the roles they have, the privileges and the performance assigned to them by the admin, this would determine the permissions they have, the activities they can carry out on the cloud resource. So the IAM, which is the Identity and Access Management tool, can be used to assign roles-based access control, which means that this is gonna be good by you can use this by creating groups. When you create groups and you assign users to groups, you can just give the group a permission, the role-based access control permission to a particular person, to a particular resource and a particular level of authority, which means that every user added to that group will have access and the same authority to perform whatever activities, to have only access to the resources the group is allowed to. I don't know if So that is just the basic thing. And then there's the least privilege policies. Employees only get access to what they need for their jobs. And the administrative roles can be assigned to specific departments like the IT department or the head of each department, depending on their level of authority. and the amount of information and access they need. So an advice that I want to throw out there is that regular audits of permissions assigned to users is very important, because then you get to list out the users who have been given a particular permission but don't use it, and then you take it out so that um, it won't people, when their computers won't be mistakenly compromised, and then people will be able to have unnecessary access to information or resources that could endanger the whole company system. And so we're going to talk about the recommendations of AWS tools for the recommended AWS tools for monitoring environments at the headquarter office. So AWS provides a tool like the CloudWatch for monitoring networks and infrastructure health, like we've talked about before. AWS config ensures that resources comply with security policies, and the VPC flow log monitors and logs network traffic to your VPC. That is the VPC is your virtual private network cloud. That is where your computer is based in. And then so how monitoring your cloud resources would help your IT security. Okay, how these tools will help your IT security department protect highly regulated and digital assets. So for the CloudWatch would set kind of, because the CloudWatch alarm performs continuous monitoring to identify vulnerabilities and respond to incidents. It provides like real-time alerts for abnormal activities. Like immediately it sends an alert when there's something, it feels something is wrong, and then ensures um in a way, these tools kind of ensure compliance with regulations, just like the AWS config, like the regulations like GDPR, HIPAA, standard international standards that companies have to comply with. So guard duty kind of detects and reacts to suspicious acts that help to detect unauthorized access on the cloud system. How does the security policy help ensure security is shared responsibility among the BitBeat at BitBeat incorporations? So when we're talking about shared responsibility, in cloud computing, security is a shared responsibility between the cloud service provider, which in this case is AWS, and the customer, which is BitBeat. And AWS manages and controls the components of the infrastructure that runs all the cloud services, while BitBeat is responsible for securing its own data. So the policies that I've recommended so far would help ensure that security is like a shared responsibility, and this is why. The first is that I recommended some tools which is provided by AWS that BitBeat can use to protect their data. And the policies emphasize on clear rule. The policies I have recommended emphasize on clear rule assignments for employees, so that you can know which employee, which resources they are allowed to have access to. And then regular security training for employees is very important, because when you train them on how to use AWS tools, it makes it quite easier. It makes it good, and in this way you're also sharing the responsibility using AWS tools and also the knowledge of the employees from BitBeat company. So there's a collaborative security between BitBeat and AWS, just like I mentioned in this security responsibility, and we're going to dive in that. So AWS is responsible for security of the cloud, which means the physical infrastructure, the databases in wherever they are in different countries, the regions, availability zones, the computer, the storage, and the databases. They are in control of that. They secure those aspects for you, and so AWS provides infrastructure security, data encryption, and compliance. And then moving on, the next responsibilities of BitBeat employees for data protection. They are for security in the cloud, which has to do with access management and data protection. So they are in charge of securing your information in the data. They are securing their own information, their data, and they adhere to the first. And in order for this to come out, their responsibility is to make sure they adhere to security policies and protocols. They should also report suspicious activities and security incidents immediately. Protection of sensitive customer data is very important. Maintaining secure access credentials is also very important. Having proper credentials that meet with the required standard for, the password requirements is also very important. Configurations, they should configure secure settings in the AWS, IAM, encryptions, and all proper configuration. And ongoing security training and awareness program for the employees is also very important. So all of this will help them to, they are responsible. Beatbit is responsible for doing all these things for their company to make, for their um, employees to make sure that they are able to protect their data on the cloud. So my recommendations will be that they should implement the security policies swiftly, because it will help to make sure that their cloud infrastructure is secure and they are on top performance. And this whole presentation highlights tools, services, and basic concepts that ensure that employees have secure and protected access to the cloud. So it also highlights the responsibilities of AWS and BitBeat in the security of cloud infrastructure. So um, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.